Joining us tonight to assess this further, former acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. And Matt, great to have you with us. This is the development that we've all been waiting for. That is the delivery of the draft report to the Attorney General. Your thoughts on the timing?
Well, this is a big deal, and we've all heard that this report was imminent sometime in September. And what we now know is that the Inspector General has submitted it for a classification review. And we also know that the Department of Justice now has it. And this is where Attorney General Barr has a real opportunity to preemptively, if there are punishments that need to be meted out, if there are people that need to be have disciplinary findings. For example, Bruce Orr is a prime example. If there was FISA abuse, if there was someone that did something wrong and should be subject to punishment or even prosecution, the time is now for Bill Barr to take this report and take action. And soon enough, we will all see what happened. And again, don't forget, Durham is still looking at the origins of this investigation. But this FISA piece is such an important piece where now actions can be taken against rogue employees or those that did wrong.
Dunham, going into that aspect of the investigation, but this investigation by the Inspector General is even broader than, well, certainly than I suspected. I'd like to know what you think. But we're talking about 1 million records and documents. We're talking about more than 100 interviews. We've got, as you say, the adjunct investigations still ongoing, and maybe others that we don't know about. This looks like it is the wholesale investigation of the origins of Spygate, and everything that has occurred under this Obama-era Justice Department and FBI. Your thoughts?
Lou, we're finally going to see how this investigation started, how a FISA was obtained for Carter Page, and how the dossier was used in that investigation. And from where I sit and from what I know, I think it is going to be fairly dramatic what this investigation is going to show, because, as you know, it now appears that actually the Russian collusion was with Michael Steele and the Democrats who paid for this original dossier that was used as the foundation for this investigation. And I think this is such a critical moment on behalf of the American people and the Department of Justice to show the full everything that went into this so that we can know that and make sure this never happens again.
And as you say, Christopher Steele, we now know, was discredited by his own government, the very agencies for whom he once worked, and the United States in government-to-government communications were aware of that, including leading up to the prosecution of General Michael Flynn. It is outrageous. It turns out the outrages that have been committed here, none by the Trump organization or the president, as accused by the Obama-era intelligence agencies, but rather by the investigators, the intelligence agencies, and their counterparts in other foreign intelligence agencies. I mean, you have to be, as a man who once was leading the organization, as a Justice Department official, you got to be sickened to see this kind of corruption at the highest levels of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies.
And this is what the entire Department of Justice should guard against, and that is the weaponization of Oppo research. We cannot have investigations launched the way this appears to have been launched, based on unverified, scurrilous, as Jim Comey even called it, Oppo research that is then used as the basis for a FISA application, it appears, and in addition as a basis to launch this special counsel investigation that was unfortunately hamstrung the president for too long. And we've talked about this, and the Department of Justice under Bill Barr, I think, is going to recover from this. But this is going to be such an important moment in our nation's history when this evidence and this information is finally given to the American people so they can judge for themselves.
President Trump putting William Barr in charge of the Justice Department at this critical, historic moment. because, as you say, first to investigate the investigators and bring to justice those perpetrators of such heinous acts of actual efforts to overthrow a president, but also with the heavy burden of reforming the FBI leadership, reforming the Department of Justice. I think we're very fortunate to have, indeed, William Barr there at this moment in history. Matthew Whitaker, as always, great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lou.